When Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young hit the road for what would become one of the most famous tours in rock history, fans expected flawless harmonies, electrifying guitar solos, and a stage chemistry that could barely be matched. What they didn't see, and what has remained behind the curtain for decades, was the storm of tension between two of rock's greatest talents, Stephen Stills and Neil Young. While audiences roared for every note, inside the band's tour buses, dressing rooms, and hotel rooms, a quiet, simmering resentment was growing, and it was rooted in a mix of personality clashes, creative control, and deep-seated insecurities that neither man could fully set aside. Stephen Stills, the prodigious guitarist and songwriter known for his fiery intensity, was accustomed to leading, crafting arrangements, and commanding attention in the studio and on stage. Neil Young, by contrast, was unpredictable, uncompromising, and fiercely independent, with a vision that often clashed with the group's collaborative process. On paper, their talents complemented each other, but in practice, the combination became combustible. According to insiders and band historians, the tension escalated early in the tour, fueled by disagreements over setlists, song arrangements, and who would get the spotlight on each song. Stills believed in meticulous preparation and precision, while Young thrived on spontaneity, sometimes rewriting parts on the fly or insisting on performing songs that weren't agreed upon beforehand. For Stills, this was more than inconvenient, it felt like a challenge to his authority and his role as a co-leader of the band. Add to that the pressure of massive audiences, grueling travel schedules, and the weight of carrying a supergroup's reputation, and the stress became a relentless, almost suffocating force. Stills reportedly resented Young for the attention he drew with his unpredictable genius, often overshadowing Stills' contributions in front of fans and the media. Every encore, every extended solo, and every unplanned song change became a battlefield for ego and artistic recognition. It wasn't just professional jealousy, it was deeply personal. Young's temperament, described as moody and sometimes detached, clashed with Stills' more intense, perfectionist approach. Offstage, the two argued about creative direction, financial decisions, and even minor details like stage positioning or microphone placement. Friends and crew later admitted that the tension was palpable, sometimes spilling into shouting matches that could halt rehearsals or unsettle other band members. And while the public saw smiles and unity in photographs and interviews, the reality was far darker. Behind closed doors, Stills and Young's animosity simmered, fueled by past grievances and the accumulation of small slights that no one else could fully understand. One key flashpoint was Young's insistence on bringing his solo work and ideas into the tour's collective set, which Stills viewed as undermining the cohesion of the band and challenging his leadership. Another layer of frustration stemmed from personal habits, Young's irregular schedule, bouts of introspection, and occasional disengagement from group activities left Stills feeling abandoned in managing the show's logistics and morale. Each perceived slight, whether on stage or off, became a symbolic standoff, a test of who could control the narrative of the band, both musically and publicly. And yet, paradoxically, this tension also fueled some of the tour's most iconic performances. Stills' precision and Young's unpredictability collided in ways that created magic, if only temporarily, as each pushed the other to extremes. But the personal cost was high. Interviews and memoirs suggest that by the end of the tour, Stills' admiration for Young's talent had been overtaken by a lingering bitterness, a sense that Young's brilliance came at the expense of respect for others' efforts. In the decades that followed, Stills rarely spoke publicly about the depth of his frustration, choosing instead to let the music speak, while fans speculated about the creative differences that had long been cited. Now, looking back with hindsight and accounts from those close to the band, it becomes clear that what fans witnessed as a legendary tour was also a complex human drama, a clash of egos, artistry, and temperament. Stills' resentment was not simply personal dislike, it was rooted in the collision of two uncompromising artistic visions, the pressure of fame, and the challenge of sharing a spotlight with someone whose genius sometimes eclipsed everything else. For those who know the full story, the magic of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's tour is inseparable from the tension that powered it. The fights, the frustrations, the grudges, they all shaped the performances, adding an edge to the music that audiences could feel, even if they didn't know the battles behind the scenes. In the end, Stills' complicated relationship with Neil Young serves as a reminder that behind every legendary collaboration lies a delicate balance of respect, rivalry, and the human ego, and that sometimes, the stories fans never see are just as powerful as the ones they do.